Right, so Shaykh, quick benefit from Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala, and this is an amazing qaida, amazing principle that the Shaykh mentions, subhanAllah, that every Muslim needs to know, in particular the Tulab al-Ilm, yeah, the students of knowledge, just so they can share it and teach it amongst the awam, the general Muslims, subhanAllah. So the qaida, the principle is, isabatu sunnati afdal min kathrat al-amal, that obtaining the sunnah is better than the one who does a lot of good deeds. And I'm going to explain what that means, subhanAllah, and we'll mention some examples here. So the evidence that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. So we can test you to see which one of you is best indeed. Notice, Allah didn't say to test you to see which one of you does the most amount of good deeds. Allah didn't say that. Allah said, أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا, to see which one of you does the best indeed. And best indeed means two things. Number one, that your action has ikhlas, is sincerely done for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And number two, that your action is in accordance to the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's what we're looking at. We're not looking at the amount of actions that you're doing, but if your action is accordance to the sunnah, even if it's few, it's better. It's better than the one who's doing a lot of good deeds. Yeah, and that's what it means, subhanAllah. So, let me give you guys an example, yeah. A person, he fasts every single day, 365 days in a year. 365 days in a year. But another person, he fasts some days and other days he doesn't fast. He fasts some other days and does for other days. We're saying this second person is better than the first person. Because the first person, even though his action is a lot, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't fast 365 days in a year. So you would think this guy's going to get more reward, he's better, but he's not. The second person is better because it's in accordance to the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, subhanallah. Yeah, and I'll mention another common example that the Shaykh mentions, and this is something very common, yeah, and you see this a lot in the masajid, subhanallah. Yeah, people doing this. So he gives the example, Sunnah al-Fajr yusannu fiha takhfif, that the sunnah for the ratib of Fajr, yeah, the 2 rak'ah that we pray before the Fajr prayer, the sunnah is to make that light and brief. That's how the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed it. Okay, he used to recite Surah Al-Kafirun in the first rak'ah, and the second rak'ah he used to recite Surah Al-Ikhlas. So the sunnah, the recommended way of praying the ratib of Fajr is to keep it light and brief. That's the sunnah, subhanallah. So look, now he says, فَلَوْ قَالَ إِنسَانُ أَنَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أُطِيلَ قِرَاءَ فَأَقْرَأُ في هذه في سنة سورة المعارج وسورة الإنسان وأطيل ركوع وسجودا وأحب أن أدعو الله وأنا ساجد وأتأنى كثيرا. Yeah, so imagine now you have another person. This person says, you know what, subhanAllah, I want to extend my recitation of the ratib of Fajr. I want to extend my recitation. I want to recite Surah Al-Ma'arij, and I want to recite Surah Al-Insan, and I want to extend my ruku' and my sujood, and I love to supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whilst I'm in sujood, and I like to pray it slow and be slow and calm with it, subhanallah. Yeah. So that's the first person. The second person says, you know what, I'm going to make my Fajr light and brief. In the first rak'ah, I'm going to recite Surah Al-Kafirun, and the second rak'ah, I'm going to recite Surah Al-Ikhlas. Just like the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed. We're saying, subhanallah, that the second person, as the Shaykh mentions here, الثاني أفضل لأنه أصاب السنة واتباع السنة أفضل. We're saying that the second person is better because he has obtained the sunnah, and the one who follows the sunnah is better. So the second person, even though his prayer is lighter and is short, is better than the first person. Even though the first person, subhanallah, look how much he recited, look how long his ruku' and his sujood, and how much dua he made. Subhanallah, we're saying the second person is better than the first person. Subhanallah, it's something to keep in mind, because you go to the masajid for the Fajr, for the Fajr prayer, and you see many people, subhanallah, you're just 3, 4, 5 minutes they're praying the ratib of Fajr, subhanallah. That's against the sunnah. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam kept it brief and short, subhanallah. And I mentioned another quick example, subhanallah. Yeah, on the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu, he mentions خرج رجلان في سفر. He mentioned 2 people went out traveling. Yeah, فحضرت الصلاة وليس معهما ماء. Then the prayer time entered, and they didn't have water with them. فَيَتَيَمَّمَا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا فَصَلَّيَا. Then both of them, they performed dry ablution, they did tayammum, and they both prayed. Okay, so they don't have water, the prayer time kicked in, so both of them did tayammum, and they both prayed, subhanallah. ثُمَّ وَجْدَ الْمَاء فِي الْوَقْتِ. Then within that same prayer time, later on in the journey, they found water. Yeah. وَعَادَ أَحَدُهُمْ مَعَ الصَّلَاةِ وَالْوُضُوءِ. So one of them, out of the 2, one of them, he repeated his wudu now, because he found water. So he did wudu with the water, and he repeated his prayer that he prayed. Yeah. The same prayer that he prayed before with the dry ablution. وَلَمْ يُعِدِ الْآخَرِ. And the other person, he didn't repeat the prayer. ثم أتى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فذكر ذلك له. Then they both came to the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم, and they both mentioned to him what happened. Yeah, وقال للذي لم يعد أصبت السنة وأجزأتك صلاتك. The Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم said to the person who didn't repeat the prayer. He only prayed once with the dry ablution. He said to him, you have obtained the sunnah and your prayer has sufficed. وقال للآخر لك الأجر مرتين. And he said to the second person, the one who did repeat the prayer after doing wudu, that you've got 2 rewards. So look, let's analyze the situation here. One of them, he prayed twice. One of them prayed twice, subhanAllah. So you're going to think, this person's better. This person's much better than the other person. Whereas the other person, he only prayed once. He didn't repeat the prayer, he only prayed once. But the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the one who didn't repeat the prayer, Asabta sunnah wa ajza'atka salatuk. You have obtained the sunnah and your prayer has sufficed. The one who didn't repeat the prayer is better than the other person, even though he prayed once and the other guy prayed twice. Subhanallah. So hopefully that makes sense. So the objective is not to just go mad with doing good deeds, but the objective is to make sure our actions is in accordance to the sunnah. Is this how the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam did it? That's the objective, subhanallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.